So we already checked out the X100 Pro from Vivo, which had Zeiss branded cameras and lenses, which gave really impressive results. We've also checked out that phone and compared it with some other devices. So you can go check out those videos on the top right, or we'll have them linked in the description below. But Vivo's back with Zeiss branded cameras, and this time around it's on the V30 Pro. Now this phone is interesting for a bunch of reasons, but it is also claimed to be the slimmest phone available in the market. Is that good enough to make this phone impressive? Let's find out in this video. The phone itself is available in two colors. We've got it here in the black color, but it's also available in an on-demand blue. And you also have something very interesting on the back, which is called the Aura light, but we'll get into that in just a second. The phone weighs in at 188 grams and is only 7.45 millimeters in terms of its thickness or thinness, whatever you'd like to call it. But I'm assuming that excludes the camera bump. The back of this phone has a textured glass, which feels really nice to the touch. And the front misses out on Gorilla Glass, but has a short alpha glass, which is also a new kind of toughened glass. The phone also has an IP54 rating, which makes it basically splash resistant and also resistant to dust, improving the longevity of the phone. But honestly, at the price range that this phone is slated at, we would expect a better water rating for this device. You do have a case included inside the box, but it's one of those cases that yellows over time, but the quality has gone up over the years, so we'll see how this one fares over time. The feel in the hand is nice. The phone is nicely curved on all edges, and even the front display sort of curves in to the frame, which is almost minimal, and the back also curves into the frame, making this phone really comfortable to hold in your hand. Let's talk about the display. We have a 6.78-inch AMOLED display with a peak brightness of 2800 nits. You also have 120 Hz of refresh rate. This is a full HD plus display, which I feel that again is a little bit of a miss in the price bracket, as we could have seen slightly higher resolutions, but that seems like a miss here as well. The display is plenty bright and has good viewing angles, and the fact that it curves again looks and feels nice. You'll enjoy watching content on this display because the colors are fairly accurate. So the fingerprint sensor for this phone is in the display, and the phone has a single speaker that is bottom firing. iOS at the moment. So on iOS, you will see this as more of a hands-free device rather than a tracking device, and you'll be able to make calls and receive calls. And here is a sample of what the microphone on the Vivo V30 Pro sounds like. Here is what the microphone on the Vivo V30 Pro sounds like. If you're going to be consuming content on this device does support Wildvine L1, so you should have no problem streaming on all your favorite streaming services. The phone is running on a MediaTek Dimensity 8200 5G chipset, which is a 4nm chip, and you do have a couple of variants available. So you do get two variants, one with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, the other with 12GB of RAM and 512GB of storage. You do have LPDDR5X RAM along with UFS 3.1, which again is less than what we expect, but UFS 3.1 is plenty fast, and because of that you do get 12GB of RAM expansion with virtual RAM. So all of those things pretty good. It is running Android 14 with FunTouch OS on top of it, so you do have a skin on top of it. Some people like FunTouch OS and some people don't, but I have to tell you that it is much cleaner than the Chinese equivalent that we saw on the Chinese variant of the X100. So you're definitely getting a much cleaner and much faster and a much more intuitive operating system. But again, I'm a fan more of a cleaner Android UI, and that is what a lot of companies should aspire for. So let's get into the meat and potatoes of this phone, because if we talk about the cameras, that is the primary selling factor for this device. It's got Zeiss branding this time around as well. And we have three 50 megapixel cameras at the back, the main one being IMX 920. And you also do have a telephoto, which is a 50 megapixel IMX 816. And the third one, which is also a 50 megapixel ultra wide camera. Now, some of the images that we took are going to be on screen right now. And this camera performs really good in not only properly lit environments outdoors, but you'll also get some really impressive shots even in low light performance. You will find that this camera does have accurate colors as well as a good amount of exposure in low light shots. As far as video is concerned, we have 4K video at 60 frames per second. And the front camera is also a 50 megapixel camera that can capture 4K video at 60 frames per second, which is pretty good because now you have consistent video as well as megapixel rating on all 4 cameras, including the front camera. Now let's talk about the Aura light, which is a really impressive light because not only does it allow you to fill up the environment or the subject with proper lighting, and it almost functions like a ring light, but you also have control over the temperature of the light, which you can control dynamically within the camera UI. This light is actually really powerful, surprisingly powerful, and can illuminate your subject quite well. It'll be also helpful in completely pitch dark situations. Even at parties, you'll be able to get a lot of light with this camera. Now, apart from that, if you're going to be taking portrait shots, you will have the ability to change the focus in post, and you'll also be able to change the bokeh in post, so you can adjust the aperture rating in post as well as jump between foreground, background, or even different subjects within your image. So it does have that dynamic focus data saved in with the image. Also in the portrait mode, you will have the ability to use some of the Zeiss lenses to give you Zeiss bokeh effects. So you do have all of those cinematic blur effects for the background, whether you're capturing pictures or video. For connectivity, we do have Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.3. And this phone, of course, is 5G enabled. So we'll have all the 5G bands listed on the screen for you now. The phone does have dual SIM capabilities, and both SIMs can be on standby, which is something that a lot of people like. So you have that, and both are physical SIMs as well. The phone has a 5000 milliamp hour battery with 80 watts of charging supported, and a charger is included in the box along with a really good quality cable as well. The phone is missing out on wireless charging, which again I think is a really important feature in this price bracket, but I feel that a lot of people don't really use it. So it's a feature that should be there, but it's not really that useful for a lot of people. So I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on whether this phone should have had wireless charging or not. Well, that's everything we know about the Vivo V30 Pro. What are your thoughts on this device? Let us know in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, smash like, hit subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.